those are my two big goals. But there's a video of me like screaming in pain because more than him, I was in pain trying to choke my opponent out. And that's in life also. People will try and bully you, but the lessons that you learn on the mats training will help you even more. But you're scared to fight MMA, fight Jitsu. I mean, it's a so safer form of fighting.
Welcome back everyone to the LockerRoom India YouTube channel. Today we have with us a man who needs no introduction, a coach, and currently ranked fourth in Asia in the AJP Tour. So Siddharth, how does it feel to be ranked so high in the rankings?
Yeah, it's pretty insane because for the longest time, I was just trying to get on the podium, like at brown belt internationally. The goal was, okay, ek baar just bronze medal bhi mil jaye, that will be like a big thing. So I remember like a few years ago, that was a dream. Ki bas ek bronze medal mil jaye, and that's going to be like, I can retire after that. And now to get so many medals and breaking into top 5 in Asia and 11 in the world, pretty unreal, unbelievable and unreal.
So like this year has been huge for you. You obviously cracked into the top 5 in the year-end ranking. So when you look back, like what do you feel about the year that went by?
I think it was honestly, I can be very honest, it was one of the most difficult years for me because if I was only doing jiu-jitsu, then I could have still like managed to do it. Now that I have done this year as an athlete, as a coach, as someone who runs Crosstrain, and also as someone who has a personal life, all those things combined, it has been absolutely incredibly difficult. And I don't think I can do this again. This year was very difficult. So many injuries, so many challenges, so many issues. Because when you look at it from a distance, and that's what I was doing, I was competing once or twice a year. I thought next year I want to compete all the events that they have, and I want to get a good ranking. So that was easy to say, but that also means, okay, you have 5 tournaments in a year, but that also means you're training for a fight throughout. There's no break. Your fight gets over, next month एक और fight है. You're in a camp straight away. So that's why it was very difficult, and I did not understand कि injuries भी होता है, injury के बाद recovery भी होता है. You have to teach your students also. So it's very complicated, very difficult. So yeah, I don't think I'm doing this madness again, but but I'm happy I got a good rank.
So when you look back, is there any one particular memory that sticks out from the year that went by?
Yeah, I think I was training our MMA team, and I was, because we didn't have too many experienced strikers. Anshul was there, but apart from that, the Punyajit was in Bali. We didn't have too many seniors to spar with the juniors. So I started doing MMA sparring again, just to make sure that our guys are ready for MMA nationals. And my Asian Continental Championship was 2 weeks away, and I was doing MMA sparring. And one of our students, Nobojit, he threw a leg kick, and I just went to block it. I was just trying to catch it and redirect it. And his kick was a little slower than what I expected. So my hand came in, and his kick was so slow that rather than catching it here, I caught it right on the fingers. So that's how I broke 2 of my fingers like 2 weeks before my jiu-jitsu tournament. So yeah, that made it very difficult because if you have one hand broken, 2 fingers on one hand broken, it's almost impossible to fight gi. You can't do any submissions, you can't do any like collar chokes. Becomes very difficult. So that was a real low for me. Like I did that, and then somehow I managed to get to the tournament. And in the tournament, I got the guy in a loop choke. And where I got the guy in the loop choke, again, my 2 fingers were like feeling like dying. So I had a tight loop choke in, but there's a video of me like screaming in pain because more than him, I was in pain trying to choke my opponent out because my fingers were hurting. So anyway, that happened. So I managed to win silver in that tournament. But if I had better fingers, I think I could have won it. And then I came back, and then I was getting ready for the World Championship. And again, like an idiot, I was doing wrestling sparring. Again, not relevant for my gi tournament, but I was trying to get our team ready for ADCC. And I was doing wrestling sparring. And last round of the wrestling sparring, the guy shoots in for a double leg. I stopped it, but my fingers, like broken fingers, hit his shoulder, and I go, my fingers. He doesn't realize it. He continues to take down, and I end up twisting my ankle as well. So then before the World Championship, I have 2 broken fingers, a really severely injured ankle. So yeah, complete disaster it was in terms of my preparation and my training. But thankfully, I got a medal even then.
So you've been going through injuries, and you're also living multiple lives at this moment. Like you're a coach, you're an athlete, you're managing your
Yeah,
business. People
yeah.
struggle to maintain two lives. Like how how is the mental state, or how do you push through when the times get hard in those scenarios?
Also, I'm organizer of ADCC, so there's another element, another element. And then Anshul had fight, so I have to train Anshul, and then we have to go out with Anshul, and then Punyajit has MFN fight. So it's just so much madness that happened this year. How do I maintain it? I think it's very important. That's what I always ask people who come to me, and they ask me, what's my motivation? Why am I disciplined? Why am I? And I always ask them that, everyone has a reason. And I think to find your reason, and I mean, this is a question you can ask yourself also, is like, on the surface, for example, I'll give example. If someone comes in and says, coach, I'm going to be very regular in training now. I ask them why. Why do you want to be regular in training? And maybe the first answer is, I want to be regular because I want to look good. That's a very superficial answer, but they say I want to look good. Then you ask them again, why? Why do you want to look good? If I look good, maybe I will have more confidence. And then you ask them, okay, why do you want to be more confident? Well, maybe then I can perform well in my life, and then my family will be proud of me. Well, now you've gone, why do you want to work out? And you connect it to the reason that your family is going to be proud. Now you have a reason to do what you're doing. And that's my motivation as well. I always ask myself, why am I doing this? And my first level, like everyone, is very vain and very surface level. But if you dig down deep, it is about making a real impact in India, and it's having a real impact on the youth and the next generation, and growing the sport. We'll all be long and gone, in 50 years, 60 years from now. But the sport, I honestly believe that in India, after cricket, MMA is going to be the #2 sport, and it's going to be huge. It's going to be massive. But the way we go about building the foundation right now, we're building the foundation at the grassroots for the sport, and we have to do it the right way. We are the people who are involved in it now, and we have to do it in a way that it's ethical, it's well done. It is authentic martial arts. So when in the future the sport grows, it has a good foundation to lie back on. So that's my motivation. I'm always focused, thinking about the future, thinking about our sport, and that's what keeps me going. Some days, honestly, it's really difficult. I won't lie to you. It's very, very, very difficult to get out of bed. Tournament khatam hua, I've come back home, and then next day I have to go for MMA sparring with broken fingers, but I have to because our guys are competing in the national. So it's difficult, but I'm very happy to be doing it.
So another question I think most people would have is like, how do you pack all this into a single day? Like you only have 24 hours in a day. So how does
Yeah.
your daily routine look like, and how do you pack everything into this?
There's a huge, so I always write a list of things before I sleep. Like what was happening a lot, I think, until just before the lockdown hit, uh, anxiety was kicking in because there was so much to do and I had so little time, and I didn't know whether to focus on my technique. Like technique study is also a big part of it, because I want to work on my technique and my students' technique, and within that I have to study between between boxing, Muay Thai, wrestling, Jiu-Jitsu. There's so much to study. So it was all about trying to figure out, what I'm going to do the next day. So then I sat down and started looking at, making list of things to do. Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah, yeah. It was me guys going through and writing down the list of things to do for the next day, and that really helped me alleviate my anxiety a little bit. Because if you go to sleep thinking kitna karna hai kaam, then you wake up, you can't sleep, you're stressed all night. So rather than that, I started writing like a long list of things. Like, tomorrow I'm going to focus on these things. These are priority things, and everything else this comes by is going to go at the bottom of the list. These are the important things to do. So every day before sleeping, I write down a list of things to do. It has my personal goals, it has my team goals, it has competition goals, business goals. So it has all of that. Um, so yeah, there's a new technology softwares I'm using also now. I'm going to start using now. I'm looking into them. Right now it's pen and paper, but one of my friends was recommending that I should use these new age tools to write down my goals and all that. So I'm doing that. I'm writing a list for anyone who's got like really stressful, hectic days ahead. Just write down things you want to do, achieve in the next day. So then when you wake up, you don't waste time. Kya karna hai? You stay down, you get down to it, and start killing it.
So could you tell us a bit about those softwares that was suggested so that people could use that as well?
Yeah, I'm gonna share the links with you. I'm gonna share the links with you. I'm reviewing them, but they're on iPad. Most of them are on iPads. But yeah, the good thing about all of them is, for example, like ADCC. I just finished ADCC, and every time I do an ADCC event, there is so much learning that goes into it, because you have an overall system, but so many things happen side by side which you can't account for. When 250 fighters are there, you don't know what the hell. So every time the learnings, and what I was not doing was, after the event, I was not writing down all the learnings, almost like a journal of what all happened, what went well, what went wrong. And then every time the next event would come, I would remember a few of the issues that we had. I would cover them, but new issues would come up, or things we did better earlier we didn't focus on because earlier it worked. They would repeat themselves. So now I sit down after the event, I write down a full journal of everything that went on, good things, bad things. So next time when an event rolls by, I can go back and look at, okay, the medals were good, certificates were not great, the timeline was not great, the referees were really good, so I can write all of those things down. Whereas earlier it was very vague and I was just freestyling it. Now I'm writing everything down. So for the next event, I know what to look for, what to plan for, and so on and so forth.
So coming to ADCC India, like you just wrapped up an event in Goa. So what does
Yeah.
2023 look like for as far as ADCC India is concerned?
So we've done an event in Gurgaon, we've done an event in Delhi, we've done 2 events in Goa. So next one, I honestly want to look at something in North India. It could be Delhi, it could be Mumbai. I don't know, but I want to do an event there next. Only because Delhi is a hotbed of grappling, so there's so many grapplers there, and a lot of the times they can't travel to Goa because it's pretty far. So I want to do one more in Delhi. We haven't been here since before COVID. So I want to do one in Delhi, and then I want to do Mumbai as well. That's a big one for me. So yeah, those are the ones. Now, obviously, we've just wrapped up the last event, so I'm still working on looking at the next venue, figuring out where it can be. But Delhi and Mumbai are cities which I'm looking at, honestly.
So when it comes to your competition, what does 2023 look for you? Like you already ranked fourth in the Asian and you are ranked 11th in the world. So will you
Yeah.
be looking to push through to the rankings in next year?
Yeah, definitely. So I'm gonna be training very hard again this next year. Goal is to now hit. So I've done top 5 in Asia. That was my goal for the longest time, to be top 5. So I've done that. Now the goal is to win Asians. So be number 1 in Asia and hopefully top 10 in the world. So that's the goal for next year. I'm gonna train hard. There's also there's a lot of temptation to do nogi. Because a lot of our students are doing nogi, a lot of our, in India especially, because of ADCC, everyone's now training nogi. So gi tournaments are quite limited in India. So I'm very tempted to start doing nogi again. But the scene is that most of my tournaments are gi. So I'm really torn between balancing between gi and nogi. But I'm still in the process of deciding. I have this month, I have December to decide if I'm going to do any nogi. If not, I'm going to go back to AJP and compete and try and win the Asian, like come first in Asia, or try and break into top 10 in the world.
So ADCC India and yourself, you're competing. So what is the importance of competing as far as someone who trains BJJ is concerned?
I think it's a great sport of grappling, because no matter who you are, what your age is, what your level of fitness is, what your level of expertise is, you can train and compete in grappling. That's a beautiful thing about the sport. It's not MMA where you get really punched in the face, or you break your nose, or you get knocked out. Grappling is easy. If you're feeling like you're going to tap on the opponent, they let you go, you're completely safe. So it's a great thing, and I think everyone who trains in jiu-jitsu or grappling and they like it, you should definitely go and test yourself in competition. I'm not saying you have to, but I think you should try it once. You might love it, you might hate it, but it's a great test of actually figuring out how good or bad your technique is. It's not about showing off or, oh, I'm the best here, I'm the best there. No, it's just to see whether your technique is actually legitimately effective against other people also who know it or not. So that's why I do it. I do it just to test, what we are working on at, in India. Is it good enough to go against other countries, the best in other countries? And that's how I think one should look at it. If there was a risk of people getting knocked out, I would say definitely don't do it. It's not for everyone. But because grappling is so safe, just tap and you're safe and you're good to go. So I strongly recommend everyone try it. You can try it and say you hate it. Okay, fine, then don't do it. But try it once. You should. I think we live only once, so you should try everything once. So I think try and compete once, and you might love it. And if you love it, then it's a great thing because then you have something to look forward to. Sometimes you're grappling, you just get bored of training. If you have a tournament coming up, there's something to look forward to. Start training. That goosebumps, that heart starts palpitating before a tournament. That's all a very good thing to go through. So I would strongly advise everybody that who trains, that try and do a jiu-jitsu tournament. If you're an MMA fighter, but you're scared to fight MMA, fight jiu-jitsu. I mean, it's a so safer form of fighting, and women can do it, kids can do it. Elderly people can do it. Like in ADCC, we had a masters division, so people over 35s can compete. We had like boys category from 13 to 18. It's for everybody. Everybody can do it, and everyone should try it.
So we have seen a lot of competitions coming up in India, and there's a BJJ culture slowly growing in India as well. So where do you see the future going as far as India is concerned when it comes to BJJ?
Well, in the US, BJJ is now the fastest growing sport in that country. It used to be MMA, but a lot of what's happening is that while MMA is great for 18 to 25-year-olds who are young, athletic, and looking to make a career, Jiu-Jitsu, like I said, it's becoming more of a family sport. Kids are doing it. Their dad is doing it. Their mom's doing it. Everyone's going together to train on a Saturday morning. So it's becoming more of a community thing. And also, what they're realizing it both in terms of participation. So a lot of people are obviously training. Competitions also going up because of the same reason I mentioned earlier. It's so safe that everyone's doing it. So I really feel that combined MMA and BJJ is going to be growing very rapidly. In the next 10 years, you'll see, there'll be BJJ academies in every city, multiple centers. It's going to explode. It's just people just haven't discovered it yet. Maybe in Delhi and Bangalore and these cities, bigger cities, people have tasted it, but smaller cities still don't know what it is. So once they find out about the sport and they see that actually it's got a lot of benefits, health benefits. You get really fit really fast. Your cardio becomes strong. Your body becomes strong. Your kids learn a lot of positive values from the sport. So when you're doing jiu-jitsu, for example, you learn about your body and why not to give up, and figuring out that using technique and leverage you can get out of difficult situations, and all those apply in real life. For example, if you're a young boy and you might have to roll with a 40-year-old guy who's maybe has a bully mentality, he bullies you on the mats, he's going very hard on you, you feel like crap. But it's also a lesson in life that there will be people who will try and bully you. So the kid has to now go back to training. He has to learn technique. He was getting bullied. Now he has to figure out how he can make his guard better, how he can have better sweeps, how he can actually control the bully next time he comes along. And that's in life also. People will try and bully you, but the lessons that you learn on the mats training will help you even there.
So lastly, one championship has now opened up the submission grappling whole concept now, and they are accommodating grapplers like Daniel Kelly, Rutola brothers. So is it a platform that interests you in the future, competing in a promotion like one championship, or are you going to stick with the gi ones?
That again, the question is the same, whether it's going to be gi, whether it's no gi. I'm really tempted to do no gi, honestly, because I see the limelight that Nogi has been getting because of ADCC. So I'm really tempted. But the reality of it is that we don't have, like, for me, there aren't too many Nogi tournaments that I can go to, especially from a ranking basis. ADCC is the only one, and I can't do the Indian one because I'm organizing it. So I get sort of stuck in that dilemma. So I'm really open to it. If like a good fight comes along at one or any of these platforms, then definitely I'm doing it. There's no doubt. Nogi is how I started. Nogi is what everyone in our academy is very comfortable doing. So yeah, if an opportunity comes by, then I'd love to do Nogi.
Okay. So, lastly, what is that one message that you want to put out for the grapplers out there or MMA fighters out there regarding the sport in India?
Yeah, what I would say is that stay consistent. I've seen the level this time in the South Asian Championship of ADCC in Goa that we organized. The levels really coming up. There were kids, 13-year-olds whose technique was brilliant. I've never seen 13-year-old kids in India do such great techniques. So the sport is really on the way up. For the older grapplers, I'll say that we can't, just the fact that we've been doing it longer doesn't mean that we should just get complacent, because the young generation that's coming through is really good and really talented. So older guys, hang on, keep training, don't get disheartened. You guys are still going to be like good and legit, but the new generation is to look out for. And for the new generation guys, you've got so much potential. Like with ADCC, the Indian championships are happening. Then you'll have the Asian trials and World Championship. I really want to see this young generation have produce a couple of fighters who can go to the World Championship of ADCC. That's my goal. I want to see Indians at the World Championship. So I'm very positive that, like with Anshul in the UFC, and I want to also get like an Indian at the World Championship of ADCC. Those are my two big goals. I'm really excited in the next 5 years. I think we'll be there.